got a campus offer. It was 14,000 rupees salary per month. My dad couldn't believe it. He thought it was my annual package, not my monthly package. He literally cried seeing that money because he had never seen that kind of money in his lifetime.
It's an unbelievable leap from this remote village in Kerala and then the journey to IIM Bangalore.
Government's midday meal scheme was the only motivation factor for me to go to school. 3-time meal was a distant dream during my childhood days. I failed in class 6 and stopped going to school.
Let's start with where the idea has come from.
There was an idli dosa batter supplier who was supplying idli batter in a plain pouch with a rubber band on the top. It had all sort of quality issues.
You didn't want that big cushy job. You decided to go back to a back-breaking work schedule.
Our shirt would be soaked in the sweat. It took us almost 9 months to sell 100 packets a day.
You started with, the recipe from mum. Where is that food expertise coming from?
We gained this experience by making a lot of mistakes. One such mistake was a bomb blast happened in a store. This pack of batter exploded.
At this packaged batter versus homemade batter.
My mom is making batter at home.
Welcome to this very special episode of The Disruptor. My guest today has revolutionized the way that we make idli dosa. Now, it sounds like a very simple idea, a staple in many households, and the making of those batters, sometimes a family secret passed down from generation to generation. Now available on your mobile app and on your grocery store. The whole story of idfoods is fascinating, but so is the story of its founder, PC Musthafa. Thank you so much for giving us this time, PC. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Okay, let's start with where the idea has come from. And also, let's start from your early years, because you've spoken about this in public before, but I find the whole journey fascinating. You come from a very humble beginning and have seen the impact of being hungry firsthand.
Yeah, maybe I'll start with my early days. I used to live in I hail from a very remote village, from a beautiful place called Wayanad in Kerala. If you've not been to Wayanad, that's a must-visit place. During my early days, my village was so remote that we had no electricity in the village, we had no roads in the village. I had to walk miles to my school. Government's midday meal scheme was the only motivation factor for me to go to school. 3-time meal was a distant dream during my childhood days. Breakfast was a luxury. My dad was a daily wage worker in a ginger farm. Was getting paid around 10 rupees a day. As he was finding it difficult to meet both ends of the family, I ended up doing coolie job at the age of 10 with my dad. I was very poor in my studies. So I was a school dropout. I failed in class 6 and stopped going to school and started working in ginger farm with my dad. That's when my teacher, Matthew sir, came into my ginger farm and motivated me to go back to school. Of course, my parents tried to motivate me earlier, but I was not keen to go back to school. I went back to school, and then life changed.
This sounds like the start of a movie script. We're talking about a young boy, a 10-year-old working in a ginger farm, and then your teacher tells you to go back to school. What happens next?
If you look at the early days, during my early days, right, schooling was not given importance. So when I went back to school, I was a failed student. Everybody looked down on you. My batchmates or classmates were my seniors now. My juniors are my classmates now. They don't respect you after that. So if you have to go back to school as a failed student, it's a humiliating experience. My confidence was very low because I was a failed student. That's when Matthew sir gave me the tip of my life. He gave me this tip, which is, when you're low on confidence, take baby steps. He asked me to focus on one subject. He was my maths teacher I said, sir, I will focus on maths. Within 3 months, the Onam examination, I became a class topper for maths. It was a news in the school. Nobody could believe it. For them, it was a surprise. For everyone, it was a surprise. For me, it was my confidence. That confidence gave me more, that success gave me more confidence. I went ahead and became a school topper for all subjects in the next examination. And then the journey continued. So, the message that I took from Matthew sir was, when I was low on confidence, take baby steps, smell success, experience success. That will give you more confidence. It's like a vicious circle, right? Success gives you confidence, and confidence gives you more success.
You know, that first taste of success that you're describing, and I see this in interview after interview, that one person who can make the difference in someone's life, and for you, it's been your teacher.
Yeah.
So once you tasted that success, it's an unbelievable leap that you've described from this remote village in Kerala, and then the journey to IIM Bangalore.
After my schooling, I was school topper, and then I did my pre-degree PUC during those days, plus 2. And then I did my engineering in computer science from NIT Calicut. Got a campus offer from a company called Manhattan Associates in Bangalore. It was 14,000 rupees salary per month. My dad was getting paid around 3,000 rupees in a month for working 12 hours a day, 30 days in a month. Here I was getting 14,000 rupees in a month for working 5 days in a week. My dad couldn't believe it. He thought it was my annual package, not my monthly package. I handed over my first month's salary to my dad. He literally cried seeing that money, because he had never seen that kind of money in his lifetime. It was actually more than his lifetime savings. I then worked with a few MNCs in India, Middle East, and Europe. Was getting bored with my IT job. I had met all my immediate commitments, built a home for my dad, for my parents, and bought a small car, and then arranged wedding for my sisters.
What was your first car?
Maruti 800 for everyone, right?
Yeah.
I decided to go back to India with 3 objectives in mind.
Where were you at this point?
I was in Dubai.
In Dubai.
1, I want to spend more time with my parents. So I got an offer from Intel Bangalore. Was closer to Wayanad. I could spend weekends with them, and they were able to travel to my place. So that particular objective was met. Second was, I wanted to pursue my higher studies. After my engineering, I had a good GATE score. Unfortunately, I couldn't pursue my higher studies because of the financial conditions at home at that time. So I wanted to pursue my higher studies. On my way to Banagada National Park in Bangalore, happened to see IIM campus, got motivated, worked hard for 2 years, managed to get into IIM Bangalore. I not just got into IIM Bangalore, I graduated as the youngest distinguished alumni award winner in the history of IIM Bangalore. The third objective was to create jobs. There were a lot of smart kids in my village. I was very lucky to come out of the village and see a larger world. It was not the case for many in the remote village of Wayanad. So the objective was, or the idea was, to do something for them. And that's when I partnered with my cousins. My cousins were running a small time kirana store in a place called Indiranagar in Bangalore. That's where the whole journey of ID started. We discussed various ideas. One such idea was about idli dosa batter. There was an idli dosa batter supplier who was supplying idli batter in a plain pouch with a rubber band on the top. You will still see in some part of Matunga in Mumbai now.
Everywhere. I mean, this is how the idli dosa batter was
Yes.
available. If you
Yeah.
can't make it at home, someone makes it and then you buy it from there.
This batter had all sort of quality issues, service complaints, and hygiene issues. My cousins tried to fix the issue with the vendor multiple times. It didn't work out. That's when we thought of fixing it ourselves. But we had no experience food industry. We didn't have money. All what we had was 50,000 rupees. With that money, we bought one grinder, one mixer, one sealing machine, one weighing scale, and a second-hand TVS scooty. We set up 50 square feet area of a kitchen, hygiene, equally planned. Our job was to go to market every day, buy rice and dal, come back, clean it, wash, soak, grind, mix it, ferment it, pack it. Next day morning, load it on this second-hand TVS scooty, go to the market ourselves and sell it ourselves. It was a back-breaking job. Our shirt would be soaked in the sweat. It was a good learning. We didn't give up. It took us almost 9 months to sell 100 packets a day.
I have many questions at this juncture, so I'm going to stop you. First of all, I just want to say that we keep hearing about the American dream. Your journey, PC, is the ultimate Indian dream of, I think, millions, crores of parents, that my child will study well in school and change their fortune and our fortune. Lift us up. And you have done that. So just a second to appreciate what a journey you've had, and then the idea that you wanted to give back. Now at this juncture, you've talked about IIM Bangalore. You had a great journey in IIM Bangalore. You didn't want that big cushy job. You decided to go back to a back-breaking work schedule where your shirt is soaked with sweat once again.
So as I mentioned, right, I decided to come back to India with 3 objectives. Third was to create jobs. So I partnered with my cousins to start idli business rather than taking up another cushy job.
The first pain point perhaps is that you are also making the batter in a mixer grinder like the other vendors. What was the first sales pitch for the customer?
The product has to be the superhero. If you don't get the product right, we won't launch the product. Even today, our philosophy is, if there is a better product in the market, we will happily withdraw our product from the market. Even now. Right? That's our confidence on the product. And as you know, all our products are 100% natural, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial. We make it exactly the same way our grandmothers used to make at home. In the case of batter, it is made with rice, dal, methi, salt, purified water, nothing else. Right? And we follow the traditional process of making it home. So the first thing was to get the quality right. It took us almost 1 year to crack the right product. The second part was the availability. So we did set up a direct distribution network. Even though it was only 20 stores, we didn't go through a distributor model. We said we will take the product directly to the stores. So the availability was our trust. We were supplying only in 20 stores initial days. So that is our trust. Third was packaging. When we launched the batter, we said we will upgrade the packaging. Right? And the packaging that you see today is the one that we designed during those days. It helped.
I think
right product, right packaging, right placement in the stores.
I think the USP as a user and as observer has been the packaging, because it's sealed and you can use some and reseal it. So that utility factor is, I think, what made the difference. So
There's one more thing that you may not have noticed. Our batter pack is a patented packaging, the shape of the packaging. It's a boat-shaped pack. It's a pouch during transit and storage, but when you open the ziplock, it transforms itself into a vessel. You can make a vessel out of it, and you don't need to transfer the contents of a pouch to another vessel. You can make idli or dosa directly from the vessel, from the pouch, right? Inspired by the car becoming transformer or transformer becoming the toys, right? So with that concept, we designed this
Wait. I have to get this properly. So the Transformers movie
Oh.
and the concept of the Transformers movie of a car becoming a robot becoming a car is what has inspired your packaging for idli dosa. Tell me
Yes.
again how.
Okay, so initially we were supplying in a in a printed pouch. They didn't have a ziplock. It was not a transformer pouch. But whereas the challenge that we're facing at that time was consumers had to transfer the batter into another vessel, right? And they were finding it difficult to reseal or restore. So first thing was to introduce a ziplock, as you mentioned. Ziplocks to some extent solve the problem, but you still have to transfer batter into another vessel to make idli or dosa. You have to clean it, wastage, all of them applicable there. That's when we thought, why don't we design or why don't we launch the batter in a container so that issue gets addressed. Like you see the curd in the market, right? But then it was very costly. The container was very costly. Second, the storage was getting difficult. Meaning, if I have to keep 10 packets in a store, the same place I can keep actually 50 packets of pouch, right? So the last mile storage also was also getting difficult. Plus the transport cost. So the overall, it was not viable for a commodity product to be supplied in a container. We still had to solve the problem. So we conceptualized this idea, inspired by the Transformer movie. It has to be pouch during storage and transit. Once it reaches home, you should be able to transform the pouch into a vessel.
You started in about 2005.
Yes.
Started with 20 stores. Backbreaking work, like you said. And for a lot of companies and great ideas, the growth then stays at some point. Not every company and every idea has this kind of a hockey stick kind of a growth. What was that point for you?
So we were doing very well in Bangalore in the initial 2-3 years. Then we started trying to expand to other markets. Failed. In fact, we launched better in Chennai at that time after 4 years. Lost all the money.
Oh, so Chennai rejected it. The Chennai said we will. The aunties said we will make it at home. We don't want this ready made.
They were not willing to buy a packaged batter, and there were a lot of unhealthy, unethical practices being followed by the local players in the market. We don't want to take that route. So I'll narrate the story maybe in a different question for you. It was good learning for us. Until 2012-13, we were one city, one product company. Bangalore batter, nothing else. We got that right. Right? We stayed very focused. Bangalore batter, nothing else. And then we started expanding to other markets. This was not a fancy business for somebody to come and invest, right? We didn't come from a very rich family background. We didn't want to take the interest-based bank loan route to expand the business. It was against our values. So the only option was to sell more. I then contacted my friends, families, classmates, roommates. So some of them came on board. For example, in Mumbai, Sujit and Abhijit, my classmates, my roommate, in fact, hostel mate during in my engineering days, Sujit was my hostel mate and classmate. So he came on board, invested his hard-earned money, quit his well-paid job, and started making batter in Mumbai. And that's how the business expanded. In 2014, we got our first round of funding. That gave us enough resources to look at further expansion. We then started looking at newer products, newer markets, city expansion, store expansion, geographic expansion, all of them. All the aspects that makes the business grow. 2017, Premji invested quite large money. That Using that money, we set up world-class factories, and then from the profits, we grow the business.
How much equity did you end up diluting?
Almost half of the equity is with the investors today.
No, but that's not bad. I mean, compared to what the journey of startups are, I think you would be still conservative with the growth that you've seen. Is that something that's important to you?
So you can be 100% shareholder in a 100 crore company or a 50% shareholder in a 10,000 crore company, right? Choice is yours.
So right now you're at what, about 4,000 crores?
We are a 4,000 crore brand.
4,000 crores. And what's the aim?
10,000 crore in 2 years.
10,000 crores in 2 years.
And IPO.
And an IPO in 2 years. Why an IPO?
I have to give exit to my investors, one, and there are different options to give exit. But then, IPO is a statement.
Yeah. It's the next thing that you want to achieve. Tell us how it works, PC, because the journey you've described is fascinating, but it is food at the end of the day. Where do you get the expertise from? Are there now food technicians on board? The packaging? There are a lot of things which require that kind of expertise. You started with, the recipe from mums. That's fine. That's a great starting point. But now it's not just idli dosa, right? There's curd, there's paneer and paratha, and there's a whole load of things. Where is that food expertise coming from?
So today we have a right team. We have a large team to do these things. It was not the case initially. During the initial stages, we learned by making a lot of mistakes. Tried many things failed. And today we are able to take right decisions from our experience. But we gained those experience by making a lot of mistakes in the past. One such mistake was a bomb blast happened in a store.
In a store?
You want me to narrate the story for you?
Yes.
So this was during the initial days of ID. We had only 20 customers. And there was a store called Appana Supermarket in Bangalore. One of the important customer for us. And every customer was important during the initial days. Even today, by the way. But those 20 customers, and this being one of the most important customer for us, got a call from this store. Said, come running. We asked him what happened. He said, there's a bomb blast in my store. Bomb blast in the store? Why are you calling me? You must be calling the cops, not me. He said, no, there's a bomb in your batter. Bomb in the batter? Like you? We laughed at it. But then he was one of the most important customers for us. So my cousin and my salesman rushed to the store on the same two-wheeler. As I expected, he was very angry at them. He said, go clean the fridge and take your leftover batter. We don't want to do business with you anymore. So my cousin agreed to. He had a piece of cloth on the two-wheeler. He took the cloth, was trying to clean the fridge. My salesman didn't want to give up. This was the most important customer. Early days of ID. So he took a pack of leftover batter, went to the store manager. Store manager was sitting on a billing counter with a computer system in front of him with a cash counter next to him. He was holding the pack of batter and trying to explain the quality of batter to him. He said, sir, this is a great product. No chemicals, sir. No preservatives, sir. Standard pitch, right? Look at sir, great packaging, sir. Done by people from IIM Bangalore, sir. This is how the pitch happened. So before my salesman could complete a sentence and store manager could reply, boom! This pack of batter exploded with a white batter on his face.
Are you kidding me?
I never leave it to imagination on what would have happened in the store after the incident. My cousin and my salesman had to literally run away from the store. With the store manager running behind them to catch hold of them.
What? Okay, at this point, there's enough suspense. You have to tell us, why did you have exploding batter?
Why did it happen? ID products are all natural. No chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial in it. This incident happened in the first summer that we were trying the product in the market. April 2006. During summer, batter ferments. It forms gas. Packet expands. Beyond a point, it explodes. It explodes like a bomb blast. I had no idea about food technology before we started. In fact, I learned the term called fermentation after this incident.
I bet all the mums and aunties in your home knew very well about fermentation. Oh wow, what a story. Now I want to come back to the point that because you've reiterated it a few times, no preservatives,
Yes.
no nothing artificial in it. But the fact is that it is a package or it is a product that has a longer shelf life. So then how is that happening?
But there are multiple ways you can look at the product shelf life extension. Usually, or the world usually takes the easier route, which is add preservatives in the food and it gets you longer shelf life. We decided to take the path less traveled, which is we decided to keep the product fresh, use the packaging to store the product, to extend the product shelf life. For example, the same batter you make at home. Of course, within the ID hygiene conditions, if you make at home, store it in our packaging, it will last for 1 week for you. But then, if you store it in a plain pouch or the matunga pouch that you get, right, it gets spoiled within a day. Even ID batter. It is a path less traveled. When the whole world was busy doing R&D in product shelf life extension by adding chemicals and preservatives in the food, we said no, we don't want to get into that game. We will fight a war against chemicals and preservatives. We wage a war against chemicals. That's why, this journey is tough.
Journey is, I think, not far from being over. There's so much more to come.
Yes.
Just a few questions that are coming to mind, and we'll do them quickly. The packaged batter versus homemade batter, that debate is still there. Those who make it at home very staunchly will never take packaged batter. Is that a challenge you still face?
It is still a challenge. In fact, in Bangalore, close to 85% of the homemakers are still making batter at home. In Chennai, that number could be like 95%. Forget about all those 95% Chennai customers. My mom is still making batter at home.
She's not using ID? What about in your house?
Yeah, my wife uses ID. She cannot make batter at home now.
Okay. So, mom, you've still not converted, but wife is at least using ID.
Yes.
What is your highest selling product right now and in which market?
Batter, Bangalore first. Overall business, Dubai, we are doing. Dubai and Bangalore, almost same size. Interestingly, Mumbai is doing very well for us. Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi is doing very well. Chennai, all those businesses are doing very well.
Okay, so in Delhi as well.
Yes.
And it's still batter, or is it because you have so many
Batter and
extensions?
parathas. Batter and parathas.
Batter and parathas are your biggest sellers. What next in terms of product extensions? Because you've done a fair range. What comes next?
So a lot of product extensions are coming in the same category. For example, we have launched wheat paratha, that is doing well. Then we launched the North Indian style home style paratha. We are also looking at the naturally flavored parathas. Batter, we have launched ragi batter, multigrain batter, protein batter. So those products are now being launched. There are a lot of other products that we're working on as extension because customers want to try different items at home, and it's not easy to make these things at home, especially the specialty batter. So we thought we could help them and make money out of it.
Superb. What is your favorite breakfast, PC?
Idli.
7 days a week?
I can eat 5 days a week. 2 days I can eat dosa.
So, okay, you are true to your word. What a fascinating conversation. I want to thank you, PC, for opening up to us and telling
Thank
us
you.
your story. And of course, good luck with everything you do with ID Foods.
Thank you.
It's, I think, a testament to what you can do if there's determination, if there's will, and if you don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you.